Hey everyone, it's Clint. Welcome to Sweetcast, and I want to talk about what I think are predictions, important things for the year 2021 in comics next year. This is sort of the way I see things moving, and what is prompting this is this change by DC Comics promoting Marie Jarvins to editor in chief. But there's a whole lot of other things that come into this. I'm going to let you know my thoughts first. Don't forget to back Fatal. It's on Indiegogo right now. Check it out in the link in the description below and help us to hit that 90K stretch goal. Also, Downcast, Rise and Fall is also on Indiegogo. We have original pages up. If you're interested in owning some original artwork, $100 a piece will get you your very own original page. All right, so this came out, and first, it's not so much about, I don't know anything about Marie Jarvins. I'll be honest. I don't know anything about her. But what we're seeing are some changes in the industry that started this year in 2020. Despite what they're telling you, none of this was actually because of COVID. It was just an excuse to make some changes. It also highlighted some weaknesses that were already existing in comics, and so things had to change. Now, I had a conversation last week with a friend about uh, some like starting your own business, being an entrepreneur. What how do you move forward? And before we had this discussion, I got talking with my wife, and I came up with, I think, our four points of advice that I would give anybody that's trying to start their own business. And this could be if you're doing your own publisher, if you're even just doing your own book, you got to think of yourself as a publisher, and it really is a business venture as well as a creative venture. But I got 4 points of advice, and I think it's no brainer kind of stuff. It just has to be. All right. So first off is first off, you have to know your market. You have to know that there is a market, and for you to know that there is a market, you have to be able to know where you can go and contact people in your market and talk to them. These are actual individuals that will buy your product. So in this case, there is still a comic book market. That's the biggest point in all of this is even if Marvel and DC have lost their way and they have failed to serve this market, uh, you know, to their fullest capacity, to their best potential, there's still a market of people there. It still exists. And while there's still a market, there are going to be comics that are produced and maybe some smart companies that figure out how to adjust and better serve the needs, and they're gonna do so much better. So knowing your market. Second is having a repeatable sales channel. In the comic book industry, it had been through Diamond Distribution, repeatable, active sales. The problem is that it was too easy to get inactive about these sales, and I think a lot of publishers, including Diamond, are guilty of this, and that is just putting out books. You put out a book, and people are going to buy it. If you build it, they will come. That quote is not reality. That's not how things work. Okay, you have to actively be finding customers and be tapping into that market, get them excited about your product, and sell your books. That's what it comes down to. And so I see things changing with the direct market because it has become so passive, or it had become so passive, with just putting books out and allowing retailers to do all the work. All it takes is a major publisher with some money behind them to put a little bit of focus on it and really try and sell books, and not just put that weight on distributors' shoulders. I see that probably changing for the better, honestly, in 2021. That's what I'm guessing is going to happen, and it might be, tapping into crowdfunding a bit. It might be realizing that why has crowdfunding become so popular? It's the hype around it. You don't necessarily have to put a book on Kickstarter, Indiegogo to be hyping up a book, to be selling it, to be promoting it as though you were, running for office, as though it was a campaign. That could still be used. That kind of enthusiasm could be used through any sales, however you're going to exchange. But you have to have some kind of repeatable, active sales activity that you're going to be able to do. All right, my next bit of advice, I don't know if it works quite here, but it was no partners in business. Don't do business partners. Do like you know, obviously you got to have business relationships, but don't you don't half own your business, your little publishing company, your whatever window washing company, whatever it is, you got to own it. Okay, it's yours. And then what was my fourth bit of advice? If it's not working, change. That's what it was. Never give up doesn't mean give up on a stupid idea. Sometimes there are books, there are concepts like, hey, if we just made our books so ideologically whole that they could be studied in gender courses and be praised, then we would finally have arrived and sell comics. Enough time has passed that they've demonstrated that this is a bad sales technique. It's bad. It doesn't work. Uh, do I think that Marvel and DC are smart enough or willing enough to follow these 4 bits of advice? It doesn't matter, because just as this demonstrates, Marie Jarvins is now editor in chief. That's her new job. It's on her shoulders now to do some of these things. My point is that if there are existing companies that are unable or unwilling to make these kinds of changes and do these sort of smart, very practical, basic business concepts, there are going to be others that do. And some of this, yeah, I think is going to spring out of crowdfunding and probably grow beyond that. But as long as there's a market there, there are people willing to buy. We can demonstrate who they are, where they are, how to contact them, all of this stuff. We can do that. You really need to adapt. So 2021, if 2020 was the year of the collapse, 2021 is going to be the year of adapting. And again, I'm not making any specific predictions for any publishers, but it's just so obvious somebody's going to do it. So let me know what you think in the comments below. Really appreciate you for watching the video. Again, don't forget to back Fatal. It's on Indiegogo right now, and it's in the link in the description below this video. And I will see you in the next video.